Hello, this is Jeff Altgilbers, and I want to welcome you to our May 11th call, our Monday call that we're doing tonight. We're having tonight on Monday, and if you're listening to this on YouTube, then you caught it on a different day, and we want to welcome all our friends in, as far out as the Philippines and India, as well as Europe and South America, and all the different countries out there, and heck, why not? Those of you from the United States, welcome to the call. I'm so glad that you're able to be on this call. And, of course, it's nice also having Dave Phillips on this call, Gold International Diamond out of Seattle, Washington. You know, the thing that I was so excited about, I guess, at convention was the fact that I saw a different for life. Not that we really had to be that different only in the sense that with Dr. Chris Lockwood now and some of the products he's introducing, we're able to now draw on a different type of generation. Not that we won't draw the baby boomers, such as myself, but we'll be able to reach out and draw the Generation Y, the younger people, to our company on some of the products that were released, such as our soon-to-be patented protein product that we have, as well as some of the other products that were introduced at the convention. You know, Chris gives us, just a totally different sense of where we're going with this. That we're able to take transfer factor, and again, that's the theme. That will remain the theme of all our products. We're not going to deviate from that because, frankly, no other company has it. We have a very special science, and we get special results with our products. So, since we're in a league of our own, why would we want to leave that? Wouldn't make sense, would it? But now, Chris is going to be able to take that and embody it in ways that we've never been able to achieve. And I'm excited to have him on. He's a friend, too, and I don't know. I'm excited about the future of For Life, and I'm excited about your future for those of you that are on this call. The fact that you got on this call means you're serious about your business. You're serious about achieving success in For Life, and why not? I did it. If I did it, you could do it. Dave Phillips did it. He'd be the first to say right now, you can do it. So many are. I was so excited to see 4 platinums at our convention. We've never seen 4 at one time that I can remember being recognized. But now, with the direction this company is going, and the fact that network marketing is so much easier to do now than it ever has been before, I can see far more than 4 platinums at our convention in Atlanta, Georgia, at our next one that we will be having there. But here's the thing. As I mentioned this before, and I'll say it again, I said this on stage at convention, we need to ask ourselves the question, if we're going to be successful in this business, how do you do network marketing today? There's a lot of different books out there. There's a lot of different, authorities on this subject, and it all has merit. Not everything is worth your time, that's for sure. But when I look at some of the gurus out there that are publishing books and they're on, video programs they have on Facebook, they're regurgitating really a lot of the same old stuff that we've seen over the past 20 years. I promise you'll not be successful in doing that. You won't. We have to realize, as I mentioned on the stage, in 1978, when I got involved in network marketing, I asked my sponsor, what do you do in this business? How do you get started? How are you successful? Well, back then the answer was retail. Sponsor and retail, sponsor and retail. And then in the 1980s, when I asked the same question, well, how do you do this business? Well, they showed me how to do meetings, how to, get on a whiteboard and show people how to build a business. We take these VHS tapes, put them in the player, and we'd watch a presentation. If it was a weight loss product, then it was about that. And we would do these presentations. We'd run newspaper ads, bring people into the office, because we had offices back then. I mean, we wanted to have a corporate approach to network marketing. That made us cool. And that was the thing in the 1980s. And then in the 1990s, it was like, man, you know, it was a whole different game. You know, we had the cell phones that were like walkie-talkies, and then we had, you know, just technology was changing, was totally changing our business. Still doing meetings. We were traveling around doing meetings. Later on, we had this thing called fax machines. It was changing the way we did business. Technology was affecting us. And so, you know, I'm not going to restate my whole speech that I did at convention, but where I'm going with this is that where technology impacts society and changes society, that also changes how we do network marketing. The problem is people get stuck in the paradigms of the past, and they can't see beyond that. And so what does that mean? That we're all high-tech, no high-touch. Matter of fact, we're out of touch in terms of people? No, not at all. Keep in mind, these are tools. Fax machines were tools. Brochures were tools. Did that mean that we are anti-relational? Of course not. These are just tools. It's up to each and every individual on this call to be able to connect with people in a way that they feel good about you and create that relationship. That bond is very important. So none of that this doesn't, but we always need to ask the question, how do we do network marketing today? Because it's always going to change. Technology is going to change, and it's going to be great because it's going to give us tools. What we want to do is we just want to keep an open mind and be aware. Be aware how people communicate today. As I mentioned on the stage, that you look at people today, what are they looking at? Used to, they looked at people. Used to, they would talk to people. Now, they got this smartphone, and that's how they communicate with people. You notice people don't answer their phone as much anymore, but they prefer to text. Have you noticed that? I'm that way, too. You know, sometimes I'm with the children, and we have a theater in our home, and I'm enjoying a movie with them, and I've got some leaders that are texting me, and I'll just take out my phone. I won't call them, but I'll text them back. Nice short message, answer their question, or just say, hey, I'll call you in an hour. You know, that's how people communicate more and more. And it's also how they get information. You know, those smartphones, you don't see them against their ears too much, right? So it's how they're reading. It's how they're listening. It's how they're learning. It's how they're reviewing information. Everything's digital now. So we ask the question, how we do this business, that's really what we got to do. We got to hone into the devices that the 21st century people use today. But for us to try to have an approach that we had 20 years ago, well, that'll work in some countries. I promise you it won't work in America. I promise you it won't work in most affluent countries of Europe. It's not going to happen. Try to do it in Brazil. Doesn't work. They're very online, that country. So what does it mean? It means today we simply have to have a system that will communicate to those very things that they go to. And then that way, when you want to send a presentation to somebody, they can look at it on their phone from the convenience of their phone. And think about it. It's wise. It's practical. If you have somebody in, let's say, Kansas City, and you have a prospect there, and I get messages like that all the time. I've got somebody in this city or that city. What 4Life meeting can I plug them into? I have no idea. Even INT probably doesn't have a meeting there. What are you going to do? And why should you rely on others to present for you? And would you really trust them? There's been so much cross-sponsoring I've seen by that. Or people that take people, same thing, same principle, stealing. I've seen a lot of it. And why would I want to send a prospect to a stranger or to a meeting when I'm not there with them? See, really, why does this whole thing of prospecting and sponsoring really depend on a meeting at all? Doesn't need to. Matter of fact, it's quite foolish. It's quite foolish. Because I can remember, as I mentioned on stage, when I got started with 4Life, we had a simple 800 hotline that Dr. Rob Robertson explain transfer factor. It was a 10-minute message. And what we did was we simply got people on it. And I would give them the phone number. I tell all the leaders, just give them the phone number and then follow them up. And then put them in. And we had fax machines, right? We just fill out the applications, take their orders, fax it in. But at any rate, that's what we did. And when we called them back, hey, did you listen to it? Well, no, the kids were screaming and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Can you do it now? How about now? Let's listen to it together. You know what? I enjoy it every time I hear that message. And that's what we did. And we would put people on that call, and then after that, I'd say, what do you think? How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself using the product, or can you use extra money? And I guarantee you almost every time they said, yeah, you know what? I can use extra money. And we would put them in. We didn't complicate it. We didn't dress up like we're going to church, to some meeting. We didn't have to leave the family to do this. Did it work? We put in over 800 people. Worked quite well. Not complicating it. Now, what does that mean? That means if you're in the Philippines or you're way out in Northeast India, you shouldn't do meetings. Of course you should do meetings. If you're I'm talking about in societies that have very busy economies and they have very little time for you. The only way you're going to reach, and it's getting more and more that way, and the only way you're going to reach, the principles never change, just the tools. So we use these tools, and we use our system to be able to do a few things. And that is to give you a professional panache, if you would, because we have replicated websites. They're free. Your home page acts as a lead capture page. It has a teaser video. What's the purpose of that? We used to call it for cold market marketing. And what we would do with that is simply put a link out there on Facebook or anywhere you want on the internet, and when somebody clicks on that link, they go to your homepage in this case, and immediately a teaser video comes up, and it starts selling lifestyle. And it's only a couple of minutes long. And then it says if you want to find out how you can have this lifestyle, just fill out that form to the right, your name, your email address, and phone number, and then submit it, and then go right into the presentation. Well, now you got a useful website, a productive website. It's a fish hook. I mean, who wants just a website? Nobody ever reads them, right? So the thing is, once they do that and they go in your presentation, then the system emails you and says, hey, someone's looking at your presentation. You need to call this person. So it allows the person to do what we used to call cold marketing, to do what we call social networking today. Social networking. You put the link out in different places. Then you go shopping, do what you want. I'm not saying that's going to build your organization. I'm saying for busy people that like to get online, like to share things with friends, that's what they can do. And then what you can do is call that person and just put them in. Don't complicate it. Don't resell the system. Don't re-explain the video. Don't do that. They've already seen it. So now it's time for them to join. Either buying the product as a preferred customer, or they join you as a leader. So that's part of the system, and there's other features of that website. There's About You. They can click on that, see your beautiful picture, your nice story. Even if you don't have much of a story, it doesn't matter. You can talk about why you're so excited about this company and what your dreams are. You can also embed a video in there. And if you want to see my website, just go to www.imt4life.com/Jeff Altgilbers. And then you can see what my website looks like. And that's what any members can look like. But there's other features on that website about the product, about the opportunity, about the compensation plan. It's all in there. But that's just one feature of a system. That certainly doesn't make a system, does it? So you log in. Everyone is given a username and a password. And I want to say this to everyone now. Keep it simple. Because every member, I'm talking about somebody who is a part of the system that's going to enroll their own people. Keep it simple, the username, password. Username should be just the first and last name, lowercase, password, last name, followed by the numbers 1, 2, 3. If you keep it like that, because we get these emails all the time, like, oh, man, something's wrong. I can't find, my password. I couldn't remember how I enrolled this person, So that happens a lot. So just keep it like that and keep it simple. But when you log in, you'll go to that back office. There's a free ebook. You don't have to pay $25 for it. It's free. Free is good. Free means information moves fast. Free is great because if you're in Tampa, Florida, and you're going to sponsor somebody in Ontario, Canada, or Mumbai, India, or out in Melbourne, Australia, it's great. They all read English. And it's interesting to note that of all the languages, if you look at the top 10 countries in the lineup in the Summit magazine, do you realize that we cover all those languages? At least I'm pretty sure we do. English, Spanish, Korean. We have added Tagalog for the Philippines. We also have Portuguese for Brazil. See, that's part of a system. The system must be bilingual. We just recently, we're finishing up on Chinese right now. Actually, the translation is finished. We're getting ready to write the scripts now so my wife can do a part on in Mandarin on the opportunity video. That's very important that they hear it in their own language. And we just basically want to sell success, so we're going to do a shoot here at the house and sell lifestyle and let them see her instead of me. She's better looking anyway. So, but the nice thing is then you can build in China. I don't know why you'd want to build in China. 1 billion, 300, 400 million. They work 24/7. Hardest workers in the earth. And that includes Taiwan, too. Isn't it interesting there's not even a gold in Taiwan? I don't know why you'd want to build in Taiwan. 1 out of 4 households are involved in network marketing. So the thing about it is the system must be bilingual. And then you can just about accomplish anything. You can sponsor anybody from your pajamas in your home office, wherever you live. Prospect, put them in the business. And again, if you're doing a meeting, I don't want to discourage doing meetings. Keep doing your meeting if you're doing meetings. What I'm saying is find the balance in this business, the yin, the yang. Find the balance. If I'm going to meet somebody that I think has tremendous potential and it's within a reasonable driving distance or whatever, I will meet with them. But part of that presentation is going to be showing them that we have an online system, because there's really just a few things we sell in this business when we think about it. One is you need to sell you. And I can't overemphasize that. You need to be excited about this, but it needs to be a calm excitement. Don't scare them. But what I mean is you've got to be absolutely sold on what you do. And you should be. And believe that they need this, because they do. They either need the product, or they need the opportunity, or they need both. So you need to sell you. And if you haven't read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, do that. Develop your people skills. That's all it is. It doesn't take a lot of time to learn how to do that. You can learn it in a weekend. Read the book. But the second thing is our unique product line. I'm an absolute believer that our transfer factor products are the most unique products ever introduced in the history of network marketing and direct sales. They are unique. We have real science. We have real results that people get when they take these products. I'm convinced of that. But the third thing that you also need to sell them on, and that is this system. We don't want them to think that when they come in this business, they have to figure it out. Because they have these fears, don't they? They have the fear that they're not a salesman. They have the fear that they're not a presenter. They have the fear that they're just not a salesperson. Well, the truth is, They don't have to be any of that. I never considered myself a salesman, and I've never sold a bottle. Some people get shocked when they hear that. You never sold a bottle? No, never did. I always believed in the concept of sell the franchise, not the burger. When you think about the McDonald's story, the McDonald brothers had a hamburger mentality. Ray Kroc had the franchise mentality. He saw that you could make fortunes selling franchises. Who are our franchises? People. Every time you sign up a leader, they go to work, you're going to make money on that person and on their team. So I see that a lot more profitable than trying to sell a bottle. Sell the franchise, not the product. That was always my approach, and it worked for me quite well. I was always business-minded when I came in this, and I knew what I wanted. And I knew I could move a whole lot more product if I had a network. And my network right now is doing $18 million a month. Could you imagine if I tried to even sell $1,000 this month, how hard that would be for me? I promise you it would be very hard. I'm not really good at sales, but I get excited and I like to promote things, sure I do. So the thing is, once we understand this business on what we are really selling, you're selling yourself, you're selling the transferceutical science, why we're unique, and we have a system, because we don't want them thinking they have to figure it out. So instead of teaching people like we did, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, that they need to learn how to present, we teach them, you need to learn how to invite. It's different. So I take that fear away by saying, all you have to do is call your friend and just simply say, hey, I got something I'm excited about. I think it's something we both can do, have a lot of fun, and make a lot of money. I want to send you a link. Have you got 10 minutes to look at it? I'm going to send it now. I'll call you back in 30. Or you can say 20, whatever you want. It's fine. The point is you get right back with them while it's fresh. And you put them in. So you're not the expert. You don't have to explain it. The video explains it. And if they say, well, now, what's this really about? Then they didn't look at the video. Then just laugh, make a joke of it, say, you know what, you were distracted, weren't you? Look at the video, and I'll call you back in 15 minutes. When you start explaining it, then you're going to run into trouble. It's just going to be problems. Again, we want to teach people that they don't have to be an expert in this business. Now, that doesn't mean if you do meetings and you want to get up there and explain it on a board, go for it. Just understand, most people are never going to be comfortable with that. And whatever you're doing, you're telling them to do it. Monkey see, monkey do, right? And the monkey doesn't want to do that, I promise you. Not in affluent countries today. Not where people don't have a lot of time. They simply aren't going to dedicate the time to learn it. They're not going to dedicate the time to do it. If you think so, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. But how many golds do we see in 4Life that remain golds? Okay, prove me wrong on this. And it's not that they're not great leaders. They are. They simply they have an approach with the way we did network marketing decades ago, and they have not learned to change. It's that simple. It really is. And they've taught their people that way too, so they're all stuck in a rut. Well, we got to get out of that rut. And the way we get out of that rut is we start paying attention to what people do. That's all. It's really simple. What are they doing? How do they do it? How do they communicate? How do they get information? See, we ask questions, and then we observe human behavior. And then we say, wow, that's okay, so this is the approach we're going to have. And everything changes when we do that. But back to that back office. When you log in, you go back there, there's that ebook that explains it. You don't have to present, you invite. You don't sell, you promote. You're excited about this product, but, my group bought 18 million last month. I never saw one bottle go out. Not one. Not one. But I was excited. I promoted it like so many of you did. So that's the thing. When we show people that it really doesn't take a lot of time to prospect and sponsor, and then sure, we want to have events. We want to bring them together and do events, but what are these events for? Edification. Edify those leaders. Recognize them when they achieve rank positions. Bring them up on stage. Let them share their story. We want to have motivation. That is meaningful material that really has direction for those people. It's going to be of benefit to them. They can use it. Not just like a hot shower, and when you get out of it, a few minutes later you're cold again. But I'm talking about people that give meaningful information, motivation, those things like that, to make an event fun. People will come to that, that's for sure. And I've seen it. I learned that a long time ago. But the thing about it is, when it comes to what I don't want to see leaders doing is waiting for a meeting to prospect somebody. Waiting for a time for that person to say, hey, yeah, I can get together with you now. And you've been waiting weeks and you've been trying to do this. Text them. Say, do you have time to look at this? And when you look at it, will you give me a couple of minutes? Because if they're not taking your call, simply send the text message, ask the question, and when they say, yeah, sure, say, that's all I ask is, when I call you in 15 minutes, just let's talk for a few minutes. But we just understand that people today are busy, but we want them to understand the business that we have, this opportunity, is for busy people. That's why we're calling them. So we can create a profit center in their life, an additional income other than their job, and how excited would they be to have it, to have extra money coming in? It's not that hard to do. It's not that hard. So in that back office, there's also the 10-minute video. Under that video is a URL. You simply copy and paste that into a message or an email, and there you go. There went the presentation. That presentation will say it all. It'll talk about network marketing, the wellness industry, social media, how you cash in on it all. In 10 minutes, it gets right to the point. And short is good, believe me. If you make it too long, their brain goes away. They just aren't listening to you. But the thing is, you will notice that in that back office, there are 3 videos. One will say leader, one will say diamond, and one will say option, meaning leader or diamond. Why did we do it that way? Because everyone's different. Some people are not sure. Maybe they're prospecting people whose finances are not so great, and they know that. Okay, fine. You send them the leader video. If they hang around with people who are always out at the country club golfing, then they might want to just send them the diamond video. In other words, that's how you come in with a diamond pack. And if they're saying, they're not really doing so too bad, well, they might want to send them the option, the leader or diamond. That's why we did it that way. So in the back office, there are different tools and things that you can use and learn. There's a video library, audio library. But the one thing I want to clear up, and this has come up a couple of times this week, people talk about the link, my link, what link to send. Here's the thing. When it comes to the link of your website or your URL for your website, that is mostly for social networking. That is, you're going to put it out there like a fish hook, like you go fishing, and that's it. And when people click on it and they come to your website and you come to know about those individuals that you don't know, that's what it's there for. When it comes to warm market or people that you know, that you've met, then you're simply going to go to that back office, go to that 10-minute video, copy the URL into a message, into a video, and send it. You don't want to send them to your website. That's not important. You just want to get them right down to that 10-minute presentation. I'm talking about a warm market person, somebody that you know. They see the 10-minute presentation, that's it. Put them in. Don't complicate it. You want to teach your people how to do that. Keep it simple. Why? Because you're going to grow faster. Just like with me. 90 days, 800 people, International Diamond. That was the top position back then. We had over 25,000 on 3 levels in my 3rd month. And it was because we kept it simple. So the principles never changed, just the tools. When you teach your people to keep it simple, don't wait on a meeting. Don't wait on trying to get that to meet with that individual. You know, call these people, message these people, get them to look at it and put them in. Don't complicate it. It's really not that hard to do. What's hard is our thinking. What's difficult is our attitudes, or the system that we've been trained in the past, the way, and we're taught that we have to do this dependent on a meeting, dependent on somebody else doing a presentation, or finding time when that individual one day might be able to meet with you. That's just not the way to build. So those were the thoughts I had this evening, and I'm excited about the future, and any suggestions that you have for the system, we're always open to that. I hear from people. We're recently, when I was in Utah before the convention, I was with a group from Norway, and if you're listening, Hilda, Tony, so many of you, we did a video just in their language, and they were sharing why they were so excited about this system. They were trained in another system, and they said it's not working, and that's when they reached out to me. Funny thing was, then they reached out to their upline up in Spain, who is an International Diamond, and she was struggling. And she was saying, yeah, I've noticed that, the Europeans are resistant to this old-style networking. And so she was so excited about it, and she said, well, then you've got to go to Germany and teach it at the For Life office. So they went up, the girls from Norway went up, and then that's what they did. And then a lot of those people got excited. Some of them contacted me at the convention and came up to me and said they were so excited about what they learned. So, it's happening everywhere. And what's not been happening is a lot of leaders just don't get it. They're stuck in the rut of the past, and they're wondering. They're content. Some of them are content with their positions because they're making good money. But hey, some of their lower tier leaders, we're talking presidentials and diamonds, are not. That's dangerous. You got to pay attention to that. That's why you got to get down there and find out what's going on with your group. And that's why I came out with this system, because I've been down there. I know what's going on, and I don't like it when people call me up and they're struggling. I don't want them struggling. Why should they struggle? I'm not saying it's easy getting to a gold or a platinum position. It's not. It's very hard work. It really is, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. But I'm a firm believer that we all come into this for what we want out of it, and not everybody wants the same thing, and one's not better than the other. So I just want to make sure that all of you get what you want out of the For Life opportunity. And what's nice is I want to see it always that it'll be there for you 10 years from now. Look at me. I'm 17 years into this. It's still here for me. It'll be there for you. And why? Because we got products that make a difference. Real science, real results. So when you think about it, and I'm sitting here sipping our new energy product, our lemonade. But I just finished also taking the shake when I was in my gym. I was taking the protein product when I was down in my gym. It's really come down to really sharing the drinks, sharing the links. So it's a lot of fun. So I'm glad that so many of you made this call. I look forward to speaking to you on our next call. Keep these thoughts in mind. You can do this. You can do this business. You can be as great as you want to be. What we need to do is just understand this, that the way we do network marketing today is so much easier, so much better, and it's fun. It's like a Ferrari. But what I see some of the leaders, when they come in this system, what they try to do is they like the idea of it all, but they tend to go back to old methods, old ways. You know, it's like people that go to church and it's yeah, 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 and then when they go back out, then they just forget everything they heard. You know? We don't want to take a Ferrari and try to put Ford motor parts to it. It doesn't work. It's not going to run that way. So the thing is, and I drive a Ford, by the way, not a Ferrari. But when I'm in the U.S., when I'm building in affluent countries, this is what I promote. This is what I promote. And then when I'm in the Philippines, guess what? You know, it's like a leader told me today, a lot of people aren't online there. That's right. You need to do meetings. So you have a prospect, you need to bring them to a meeting. So learn the balance. Just understand you do things differently in different places, but more and more, what you're going to see in affluent countries is that this is the way to go. So much success to you. I'm going to open up the line, and we can listen to their crying kids, or we can say good night or anything you want. Hang on just a second.